The last portion of the unit integral calculus 2, under which we cover mainly the tracing of curves, is now dealing with the parametrics. The last part or the last portion what we will be discussing today is method of tracing the parametric curves. So how we identify the parametric curves? Let the given parametric equation be x is equal to function of t and y is equal to function of t, written as x is equal to f of t and y is equal to g of t with a parameter t. So as I told you always, parametric equations are expressed in form of x as well as y, and they are in turn expressed in the third variable, which is usually called as a parameter. So herein mostly we will be finding down the parameter as t or parameter as theta. So x will be a function of theta or t, y will be a function of theta or t. So appropriately we try to get the simplification. So our identification of the curve, that these are nothing but or referred to as parametric. So given equations will be x is equal to f of t, y is equal to g of t with the parameter t. Now case 1, if possible, try to eliminate the parameter t from the given equations and form the corresponding Cartesian equation in x and y. Then tracing of the curve will be as per the rules discussed earlier. If possible, or if we are aware of the conversion or the transformation, try to convert the try to convert the parametric curves into the Cartesian form, so that whatever rules we have discussed earlier pertaining to tracing of Cartesian curve, what were they? Symmetry, origin, nature of origin, then you have asymptote, intercepts, region of extent, and lastly drawing the plotting of points and then drawing the curve by joining them. These are usually the steps to be followed for tracing down of the Cartesian curves. So case number 1, if possible, try to eliminate the parameter t from the given equations and form the corresponding Cartesian equation in x and y, and then tracing will be done as per the rules discussed earlier. But possibility can be, if this is not feasible, then what does case number 2 says? That if it is not possible to eliminate the parameter t from the equations, then we apply the following procedure. So accordingly we will be following the procedure which is discussed now. Now the very first point which starts is symmetry. As in the earlier case also, we have to discuss about the symmetry, whether it is symmetrical about x-axis, whether it is symmetrical about y-axis, whether it is symmetrical about both the axes or origin, etc. So point number 1, if the curve is symmetrical about x-axis, the curve is symmetrical about x-axis if x is an even function of t and y is an odd function of t. Now I will have to check for x whether x is an even function of t. Even function of t means replace a t by minus t. If x remains unchanged, x remains unaltered, I say that x is an even function. By replacing t by minus t, if y changes, y becomes minus times the function of t, we say that y is an odd function of t. So in such cases, the curve will be symmetrical about x-axis. The curve is symmetrical about y-axis if x is odd and y is even. Whatever procedure we have done in the previous step, same is to be applied, but the results are obtained in the opposite manner, and therefore we say that curve is symmetrical about y-axis. If both x and y are even functions, then curve is symmetrical about both the axes. If after putting t by minus t, you are getting the same values for x as well as y, the curve remains unchanged for both x and y, we say that the curve is symmetrical about both the axes. If x and y are both odd functions of t, then it is symmetrical about the opposite quadrants. If they are if both are odd function, then they are symmetrical about the opposite quadrants. Third is origin. What does this point says? If on putting x equal to 0, we get a real value of t which makes y is equal to 0, then the curve passes through origin. On putting x equal to 0, whatever value we get for the parameter t, which is making y as 0, the curve passes through origin. So on putting x equal to 0, we get a real value of t, which makes y equal to 0. The curve passes through origin. Intercepts. Now how to calculate the intercepts? Any value of parameter t for which y equal to 0, and then substituting the same value of t in x, we get x-intercept. So we need to find out that value of t which is making y as 0, and in turn for the same value of t we will be getting down the x-intercept. So what is most required over here? It is most required that we will be calculating or obtaining the value of parameter t so as to get the x-intercept. On the other hand, for any value of parameter t for which x is 0, substituting the same value of t in y, we get y-intercept. So for that particular value of t, we will be requiring the y-intercept. Asymptotes. Find the value of t which makes both x and y infinite. So asymptote is nothing but a tangent to the given curve at infinity. So we will be finding down that value of t which will make both x and y infinite. Region or extent. Find the least and greatest value of x and y for some values of t. The curve will not exist when x or y is imaginary. So we are interested in finding out the least and greatest values of x and y for some values of t, and curve will not exist when x and y are imaginary. Right? That is what we are all aware of. We consider only those points for which the region exists, or for which it becomes the square root of a negative number. We say that those points are imaginary, and we usually exclude them. So for this helps us, or this judgment helps us to decide the particular points to be plotted so as to joining, so as after joining them we determine the rough sketch or the pictorial diagrammatic representation of the given curve, which is particularly the figure or the picture of the given curve. Points or the table which will be formed. Prepare the table for the values of t, x and y. If x is equal to function of t and y is equal to g of t are periodic functions of t having a common period, then it is enough to trace the curve for one period. Suppose it appears to be the trigonometric functions, and we know that trigonometric functions are periodic. Why they are saying so? Because whatever is the particular range of a given period, after that particular after the values beyond that period or the range, the values will be repeated for that particular curve or the variable. So it is advisable that if you identify that the given variable is nothing but the periodic function, so always take the region or extent till that particular range, because after that the values are going to get repeated and there will be no point unnecessarily to draw it in the same manner. So therefore this particular point is to be kept in mind while we discuss about the points or draw the table. The note to be kept or to be remembered is vertical and horizontal tangents exist at points where dy by dx is 0. That is, it goes infinity when dx by dt is 0, dy by dt upon dx by dt. So dy by dx in the case of parametric form is written as dy by dt upon dx by dt. Application for parametric curve. The immediate portion what we will be discussing about the parametric curve after tracing or validating these many points: symmetry, origin, intercept, asymptotes, region of extent, etc., is now to be talked about application of the parametric curve. So what are those applications for the parametric curve? The first one is the length or the rectification or the perimeter, what we call. How to determine the length of the curve? For the parametric equations of the curve with the parameter t lying between t1 and a t2, the length s is given by integral t1 to t2 under root of dx by dt whole square plus dy by dt whole square dt. We will be identifying the length by integrating them between the parameter t1 and t2 and under root of this. Area bounded by parametric curve, it is given by a is equal to integral over t y dx, but I am not having the function in terms of x, I am having x in terms of t and y in terms of t. So integration of y multiplied by dx by dt and whole to be integrated with respect to t. On the other hand, it should be x multiplied by dy by dt and whole is to be integrated with respect to t. Volume. If the plane area is bounded by parametric curve, then volume about x-axis is given by pi y square dx by dt whole dt. About y-axis, it is given by pi x square dy by dt whole dt. If you remember, about y-axis it involves x, about x-axis it involves y. So appropriately we need to do the simplification. As in Cartesian it is a dx, in parametric it should be replaced by dx by dt whole dt. वैसे देखा जाए तो I am not changing the problem. It is hypothetically can be understood that it is cancelled, but there differentials ऐसे cancel नहीं होते, but just for writing purpose we can think of area of surface of revolution. Again there are two possibilities, one of them is about x-axis, another one is about y-axis. About x-axis it is s is equal to integral t1 to t2 2 pi y under root of dx by dt whole square plus dy by dt whole square dt. So that is how we will be doing the calculation for the area of surface of revolution. About y-axis में integral t1 to t2 2 pi x multiplied by under root of dx by dt whole square plus dy by dt whole square dt. So these are the respective formulas or the pattern of obtaining